Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Jones, the Bluff City Cowboy, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee. And football is back. We are officially into football season, and this is week 1 of the regular season where the Dallas Cowboys will be facing the Cleveland Browns in what should be a very good matchup. So thank you guys for joining us today. I see the views are going up pretty quickly. Let's get those likes to match those views. So before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you share this broadcast, share it to your personal page, share it to your favorite Facebook group. If that group happens to be DC4L, make sure you continue to watch and join us every Wednesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time. And if you're not watching from DC4L, make sure you go find the group on Facebook. There are 2 groups, one public, one private. Hit that button. Join us for some great conversations, some great Dallas Cowboys content, and, of course, the Fifth Quarter Podcast. Also find us on YouTube, DC4L, and find me on YouTube as well at Bluff City Cowboys. So we got a special guest joining us for the first show of the season. Got Miss Amanda Foster joining us, the creator of the DC4L Facebook or DC4L Nation.
That's right.
Amanda, thank you again for joining. Appreciate it.
Hey, y'all. It's so good to see you. So good to see you, Marcus. Football is back. Man, I didn't know if we were going to get here.
Yeah. So we definitely got a great show for you guys, for the ones joining us for the first time. We try to do things a little bit different here. I'm a OCD structure type person, so I don't like to just sit and ramble for an hour and a half. I like to have some structure to the show. So this show does have 5 segments. Of course, we won't cover the first 2 segments because we haven't played our first game yet. So for you guys who will be joining us weekly, every week we will choose a player of the week, and we'll also do a game recap of the last week's game. And then from there, we'll give you the major storylines going into the next game. We'll give you some key matchups to take a look for. We'll give you guys players that we think will be X factors in that game. And we'll, at the end, do some over-unders on certain statistics just so we can have an idea of what the fan base thinks about some of the players. All right, so before we get started, let's check out the comments really quick. Once again, remember, this show is fueled by DC4L Nation, so be sure to give us your questions, give us your comments, give us your thoughts on anything we're talking about, and we will try our best to hit every single comment.
That's
we
right.
normally do a pretty good job of doing that on the show, and we appreciate you guys for joining. So I see we got Jeff joining us. Thank you for joining. Stephen Franco, another regular. Bruiser Burrows joining us again for the regular season, so thank you for tuning back in. We got Billy Haley joining us also. Definitely go Cowboys.
Yeah.
And Stephen Franco coming with the first question. Is it Rico or Zeke as RB1?
Well,
as you know, the unofficial depth chart did come out, and Zeke was listed as RB1.
I think it's important to note, and we're going to get into this, but Stephen, it's really important to note that running back by committee typically doesn't have a feature back. They're hopefully, at least this is stereotypical I'm talking about. You don't really have a featured back. Marcus, you can go more into detail if you want, and we'll get into it. But Zeke is your running back 1. But the plan, I believe, is for everyone to split snaps because we got an older room. I mean, and that's not saying nothing, but we've got 2 really old guys, and they're not even really old. But when it comes to being running back, they are pretty old for that category. So by committee, that's the way it is. But for, all sakes and premises, Zeke is running back number 1.
Yeah, and I'll just follow up by saying this. Zeke Elliott is a marquee name in Cowboys Nation.
Yeah.
Zeke is wearing a new number, which means new jerseys being bought.
New sales.
And new sales. Mm-hmm. And our owner is a marketing expert. There's not a chance Zeke Elliott will not be RB1. 0 chance.
No.
Even if he doesn't perform well, he's going to be first on the field just so those 15 jerseys can sell out of the stadium.
Yeah. Which I refuse to buy one. I'm wearing 21. I'm not buying another Zeke jersey because there's just no guarantee he's going to be here next year.
I agree.
I know that's terrible, but like I have multiple Zeke jerseys already, so I'm just going to roll with what I got.
Yeah. And for you guys who pay attention to things outside of the ball, I want you to count how many times Zeke taps his helmet. Because when a player taps their helmet, that means they want to get pulled out of the game because they're gassed. So just one of those game within a game things that I'll be paying attention to. Pay attention to how many carries or how many snaps Zeke plays before he taps his helmet to say he's gassed. That's going to give you an indication of how in shape he is and how prepared he is to be the number one running back. Because again, he's going to be listed as number one. The question is, will he actually perform like number one? So that's just one of those things to pay attention to.
When we get to running back, I got a question for you, Marcus. I got it notated, so I won't forget.
Okay. All right. So we got Justin Robinson joining us, one of our sponsors for the show.
For tonight's show. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I saw you make a post, Amanda, about a giveaway.
I did. Oh, yeah. I commented in it. We have, I think this is the most giveaways we've ever had on the show. We've got 3 giveaways tonight. 2 of them are signed memorabilia, and then one is a really awesome jersey. I don't wear jerseys from anyone else, and that's from Justin Robinson. So,
yeah. So thank you, Justin, for always supporting us and being one of our giveaway providers.
Yes, thank you.
So Jeff says we go with the hot hand, Zeke short yardage and red zone. Got John Murray joining us.
Welcome,
Jackson
John.
Faust.
Hey, Jackson.
Sally Prieto. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. We got Karen Cardwell joining us. How you doing, Karen? And Bruiser says, I hope he runs for 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Don't we all? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, Stephen Franco got the Lamb jersey from a giveaway and said he's gotten a lot of compliments from it.
They're great jerseys. They're really good.
Yeah, Amanda is very particular about who she allows to represent her brand and promote. So anybody that you see that has that DC4L stamp of approval, you're definitely going to get high quality.
Yeah, and you can buy anything from DC4L that says verified seller with no worries. They've been thoroughly vetted. We don't do that scam stuff. You just won't find it in DC4L. We respect our members and we appreciate you. And you could go anywhere on Facebook and you choose us. So we're always going to make sure you're okay.
All right. So I see we got Cortland Haskett joining us. Thank you for joining. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. All right, guys, we're at the 10-minute mark. Got a lot of content to go over. So let's go ahead and get the show kicked off. And we will start off first with our storylines leading into this week's game.
Let's go.
Storylines.
All right. So the first and only storyline I have for this game is we got the young guns joining us. If you saw the unofficial depth chart, and we just talked about this, Zeke was listed at RB1. But another interesting aspect was we have 4 rookie starters in game 1. Maris Leofau was listed as linebacker 1 over Overshown. And then, of course, you got Kalen Carson, who's going to be filling in for Deron Bland. You got Tyler Guyton, first-round pick at left tackle, and Cooper Beebe, who won the starting center job over Brock Hoffman. So this is the first time in Cowboys history that 4 rookies will be opening day starters. So this is going to be a historic event come Sunday afternoon. And that leads us into our first giveaway, our first question for a giveaway. So let me go ahead and put the rules up for the giveaway. So if you do win, you must contact Amanda within 72 hours because we got a lot of prizes. We want to make sure people actually get these giveaways. So make sure you contact her within 72 hours. If not, I'll be giving it away again on a future episode. You must be a Cowboys fan to win, because we don't want to give out Cowboys paraphernalia to non-Cowboys players and they burn it or do something stupid. Ed Earl, thank you for joining. Lee Hairston, appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, Stephen Franco.
We'll talk. We'll get
Yeah, he wasn't.
I'll mark it. Yeah, he's not injured. He's starting. It's just the way the linebackers are set up. We'll go into it. I promise, Stephen.
Yeah,
I got your comment pinned.
Definitely. Okay. We do ask that you follow the DC4L Facebook and YouTube channels, as well as subscribe to me on Facebook also. And then you have to give Facebook Facebook permission to see your name so that we know who wins. I see we got Mendoza joining us also, and Yvonne Lopez. Thank you for joining as well. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our first giveaway question, which is based off the Young Guns. We have 4 rookies listed on the day 1 unofficial depth chart as starters. This is the first time we've had 4. What was the last year the team had 3 rookie starters on opening day? It's fairly recent, so you guys should remember that. The first one who responds correctly in the comments gets the prize. So what was the last year the team had 3 rookie starters on opening day? Everybody's saying 2016. That is not correct. 2022 is not correct also. Nobody's gotten it so far. Everybody's saying 2016. And I'll go ahead and throw this in. 2016, Yvonne Lopez got it. It's 2020.
Ooh.
2016, we did have Jalen, Zeke, Dak, but in 2020, we had CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Terrence Steele.
That's right.
So that was the last time that 3 rookies were on the first game starter list. We almost had 4 the year with – we almost had 4, but Neville Gallimore did not start the season off as a starter. So congratulations, Yvonne Lopez. You were the first one to answer 2020.
Congratulations.
That's the correct year. So Amanda, let her know what prize she will win.
Okay, so you've got a signed photo coming your way. I know, Yvonne. Go ahead and shoot me a message, and we'll get it sent out. I think I have your address already, but you got to claim it. So Yvonne's been a supporter and a subscriber of our Patreon for quite some time. She's awesome. So thank you, man.
All right, guys. So appreciate that. We got 2 more giveaways to do tonight. So be sure to stick with us. The questions do get increasingly more difficult, and you guys can blame Amanda for that because she chose the next 2 questions.
I didn't do nothing. Okay, I did choose them. I tend to choose the rough ones.
Yeah. Just be lucky I didn't choose all 3 she gave, or we'd be here all night.
No, we would. Okay, we might be here for a while. And people were asking, I dropped the link into the chat for the DC4L YouTube, but if you cannot find us, if the link's not working, I don't know if it popped up as a link, just type in DC4L FB GROUP, and it's got our logo on it. It's just DC4L FB group, and that should pull us up. You can't miss us. And then Marcus is under Bluff City Cowboy. He's really easy to pull up. So oh, and I can post that link here shortly for you, Stephen. I can send you a message. Our Patreon's super easy. It's pinned in the featured section of the DC4L group. For $5.99 or $10.99, depending on it. I give away signed memorabilia like once a week. And then at Christmas time, we do I did 12 days of Christmas, and then last year I did 20 days of Christmas. I just give away a lot of stuff. So definitely check it out. Can't miss it.
All right, guys, we got 2 more giveaways to do throughout the rest of the show. So continue to stick with us as we continue to talk about this week's matchup against the Cleveland Browns. So let's keep the show moving, and we're going to go into some of our key matchups in this week's game.
Key matchups.
All right, so we just talked about the rookie, so let's start off with what I think will be the one we'll all be paying the most attention to. It could be pretty close, but you're going to see a theme. You're probably going to see all the rookies show up in this chart. The first one is Cooper Beebe, third-round pick. First game as a center, going against Big Dalvin Tomlinson, the 330-pound nose tackle for the Cleveland Browns. So Cooper Beebe starting off with a really good first test. Cleveland has two very good edge rushers. So more than likely, Beebe is going to be going one-on-one against Tomlinson quite a bit because there's not going to be a lot of opportunities to provide him with help. So, Amanda, what do you think about this matchup between Beebe and Tomlinson?
Okay, so when I watch Beebe practice, that dude is the most determined man that I have ever seen. When you've got your mama out there doing snaps with you,
right?
You really want to be successful. And I look at this, I'm mildly concerned because any rookie, okay, look, there's going to be roadblocks in any rookie that's starting. It's not going to be smooth sailing. Look at Tyler Smith. Look at his first year, the holding, which we all knew was an issue coming out of college. He's pretty much got it under control. There's going to be some hiccups as we go. This isn't the matchup that really concerns me on the offensive line, which I know we're about to get to the next one. This isn't the matchup. I think Cooper will be fine, especially given he's sandwiched between two all pros. I don't think you could get any better because you're between Tyler Smith and Zach Martin. I think he's going to be fine. So I'm not worried about this one.
The only reason I'm worried about it is because one, like I just said, even though he's sandwiched between two all pros, the way I think Cleveland's going to run their defense, they're going to find a way to isolate him one-on-one with Tomlinson. My second concern is snaps. This is the first real game where he's going to be doing under center and shotgun snaps. And as a person who played center for quite a few years, the hardest part about playing center is when you got a guy right in front of you this close and you got to try to find a way to snap the ball and make that block.
That's
because
true.
as a center, you're already at a mismatch because all the other linemen, especially when it's an obvious rundown, all the other linemen are on a three-point stance.
Right.
So they're able to dig their hands in the dirt and fire off. As the center, you're never able to really be in a three-point stance because you have to hold the ball and keep yourself balanced with your quads. So when you snap the ball, you're not able to get that same type of explosion as the other guys. And now you may have a guy who's 330 pounds, who's stronger than you, bigger than you, and more experienced. And your first thought is not to block the guy, it's to make sure the ball goes to the quarterback. So just because of that, it concerns me a little bit. So I just talked about the game within a game. Pay attention to how those snaps start to look as the game progresses. I wouldn't be shocked if somewhere within the first 5 or 6 snaps, we see one that's a little funky just because he's working out nerves or
that gets away from him.
It gets away from him, or Cleveland wants to put the big guy in front of him just to kind of test the water to see if he's really ready.
Thank you,
Bruiser.
You know, it's kind of overshadowed by the matchup you've got there out on the left. I didn't even think about the snap on that. Do you think Hoffman would have been your better option for week 1 or no?
No.
I don't think so either.
I mean, in terms of snapping the ball, because Hoffman's done it probably his whole life, I would say, yeah. But BB's the better player.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. But he hasn't played center before, so there's going to be some growing pains that could happen. Not saying they will, but they could.
Very possible.
All right, so we'll go next to the matchup that Amanda's more concerned about, and that's first-round pick Tyler Guyton versus defending Defensive Player of the Year, top 3 Defensive Player of the Year candidate for the past 2 years, Myles Garrett. So, Amanda, what concerns you most about this matchup?
Myles Garrett. I'm sorry. Just no. Okay, Myles is going to come out. There was a lot of talk last year that award should have went. I mean, what was it? It was Micah, Myles, and Bosa, right? Those were the top 3 candidates for it.
Maybe it was Matt Crosby.
Was it Matt Crosby?
He was in there somewhere. He was in there somewhere.
I know it was a real tight race, and I know there was a lot of rumors as to if he should have, really gotten it.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to come out with a vengeance. I don't remember when his contract is up. I want to say when did Myles get signed? I don't remember.
If I had to guess, probably last year.
Was it last year? I didn't know if this was the contract year or if last year was the sign, was him getting signed. My biggest thing is he's going to come out knowing that Tyler Guyton is a rookie, and you test rookies. And when you have a player of Myles Garrett's stature and ability, he is going to test him like crazy. So I look at Tyler, and one of the things is he is very, very wide. Like, he's a big-bodied boy. I think he's 6'7". So I think he's going to be okay. But I hope and pray that Mike McCarthy has contemplated the fact of giving him some help a couple times, like the jumbo package, or giving. One thing about bringing Zeke back, Jeff just said it. One thing about bringing Zeke back is there's no better blocker and protector for Dak Prescott than Zeke. People joke about it a lot because of that Niners game, but Zeke can pick up a block great. And I think he could help pick up if necessary on that. But Tyler's a tough guy. So I really just worry about the nerves. That's a big deal. But, it's a position he's comfortable with. It's not as much as Cooper, coming out, because we've moved Cooper. If anyone doesn't know that, BB was not a center. We moved him to center in training camp. That was something we moved over. So I just hope that he can bear the brunt of the nerves, because the blind side is the most important place to protect your quarterback from. So we'll see.
So also to kind of add on what you were saying, because I see people are saying you could send a tight end over Zeke and help. You got to remember what I just said. We've got a rookie center also. So Zeke has to pay a little bit more attention to that inside if there happens to be a blitz. And then also the Cleveland Browns just signed Zadarius Smith from the Green Bay Packers. So he's going to be on the opposite side. And you best believe he's going to give Terrence Steele some fits, because that's a really good player. So the team won't be able to necessarily shift coverage or add an extra blocker to their left side as much as we would like. At some point, for a couple of plays, Tyler Guyton's going to have to put his big boy pants on and just try to fight through it one-on-one. Exactly.
If he can get in the rhythm, he gets out there. That first series is what we're really going to want to watch, because that's where the nerves are. Once you get out there and you get through that first series, or even the first four, the first 3, now I can't even think of what, the first 3 downs. Once you get through that and you get your first down, I think it'd be really discouraging if, first play of the game for the offense, Dak ends up on his back. So I'm really hopeful, because that would shake up anybody. I mean, that would shake any rookie. So the biggest thing is just getting out there and getting it done. I think if we can get through the first series, everything should settle down. The game comes more into focus and the nerves go away once you get through that first series. So
and if we don't get too many 3rd and longs, because I feel like the way the offense looks right now, we're going to be able to convert 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. So as long as we don't get caught in any 3rd and 6,
3rd and 9,
3rd and 9 situations where they absolutely know we have to pass it, then I'm not concerned about him. If we keep it manageable, where Myles Garrett can't just tee off and say, you know what, I know they have to pass it, so I'm pinning my ears back and I'm going after it. I think we'll be okay if we don't get in too many of those situations. Brian Dublé got the Beard Gang joining us once again, asking, is there any truth to CeeDee Lamb not playing this week? Absolutely not.
Okay, and if I think I know where this is coming from. So I have CeeDee on my fantasy team too. It still says out. If you notice, they just cut 2 people. We waived 2 people yesterday. Let me tell you why. It's because CeeDee's on the reserved list. It's like the commissioner reserve list. And it's because his contract wasn't done technically. I mean, it was, but it wasn't finalized before the 53 came out. So what you're seeing, like, so on the league, I have CeeDee and it still says a big old O for out. He's still out, but he's not. He's playing. People are really concerned. If you're concerned about anything with CeeDee Lamb, it should be soft tissue injuries. Yep. That should be your concern. But CeeDee really was putting in a lot of work. And he's a really good guy. So I think it'll be okay. He's definitely playing though. We'd be in a lot of trouble if CeeDee Lamb wasn't playing.
Yeah.
I think we might be in a lot of trouble anyway, but
yeah, Jason Layton, I see your comments. We got a lot more key matchups to go through, and a couple of those will be touched on in a few seconds. Let's go to our next one, and he asked for it. So another key matchup, we talk about CeeDee Lamb. One of those things, again, I love about the show. You guys put a comment up there, and it goes right into the next thing we're talking about. So this is going to be a good matchup between CeeDee Lamb and Greg Newsome II. Probably one of the better slot corners in the NFL. And this kid is extremely talented. CeeDee Lamb hasn't practiced a lot, but we know what he can do if he's on his game. This is going to be a really good cat and mouse game between these two. And even if CeeDee Lamb goes outside, they have Denzel Ward.
Right.
It's not going to be an easy day for CeeDee Lamb. I'll just put it that way. This might be the best set of corners that Lamb has ever faced. Maybe the Jets last year, but this one is a very close second between all their corners.
I agree. I mean, that's one thing. I want to say something to all of you. I know most of you are Cowboys fans. There might be a few lurkers out there that aren't. I know in recent history it's been, it's just the Browns. Please do not go into this game with that mindset. This is not the Browns of 4, 5, 6 years ago. Just be prepared for that. This is going to be a very, very tough game. They are the #1 defense for a reason last year. I mean, look at what happened. They went in the playoffs, first of all, but Deshaun goes down and they bring in a backup quarterback and they still find success. And everybody says that defense wins championships. They have a championship style defense. Mm-hmm. Now, they didn't really lose anyone last year. They only added to it. So this will be very challenging for all of our receivers because their corners are very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, they're loaded all across the board. Cornerback, secondary. They don't have a lot of weaknesses on this team. They have some X factors who could either play really good or really bad. But in terms of weaknesses, they don't have any. This is a really good top to bottom team.
Yeah, and just because Chubb's out, which I'm sure we're about to talk about, Jerome Ford stepped right in and did plenty well last year. I mean, so good that if he plays to the same caliber he did last year after Chubb got injured, it's going to be very hard for them to give Chubb the running back one spot back when he does finally come back. They don't even have to rush him.
Yeah.
So
I see a couple of people still trying to go against us. Miss Maxwell saying it should be an easy win, and Jeff Pop saying it's still the Browns.
Amari Cooper's revenge game. I want you all to remember that. Yeah. This is a revenge game. And, oh, man. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute, too. So
yeah. So since you bring that up, that was actually –
look, I brought up the next one.
Yep.
Roll right into it. Just so y'all know, I didn't see the slides beforehand either. I just told him, let's go. So
yeah. Amari Cooper, like Amanda just said, a revenge game. You got Trayvon Diggs coming back from a season-ending injury. They played a lot against each other in practice. I'm sure they're both looking forward to this matchup. Yeah. Amari Cooper does not move around the line of scrimmage much, if at all. So he's going to see a lot of Trayvon Diggs because Diggs doesn't move either. Pay attention to that on the top of the field during the game, Cooper and Diggs. Amanda, you got any thoughts on this? I know you're a huge Amari Cooper fan.
So if anyone knows, okay, I love Amari Cooper. In fact, that's still something that my co-owner loves to give me crap about because I still think that trading him and signing Michael Gallup was one of the absolute worst decisions that this organization has made in several years. I think that here's the thing about Amari. You know, people like to say that he's very that he was very hot and cold. I don't really necessarily agree with that. I don't want to go into too much detail because I could sit here and talk about it all night. Amari's going to give us a lot. He is going to make it a point to prove that getting rid of him was incorrect because we sent him to the Browns. Now, at the time, we sent him to the Browns. That was kind of like a dig at him. So, and we did it for absolutely nothing. My concern is how Trevon handles post-injury. We haven't seen him. Like we haven't seen Trevon post that injury. He didn't play any preseason snaps. All he's got, I think they even had him on a pitch count in practice. So this is really going to be the first that we have to like see how it goes. And I'm really concerned. I was less concerned because we had Bland, and now of course that's out the window. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
But I do think that it's very possible. There was one, I played him last year in fantasy football, and I didn't get to draft him. They took him right in front of me, and he put up 40 points in fantasy football. And in a PPR setting, that's a pretty impressive feat. So that could be one of these style games for Amari.
Yeah.
So
and Jerome Gunn, thank you for joining us. Brings up another great point. Amari Cooper gets a new playbook.
Yeah.
Cleveland just changed offensive coordinators. Their new offensive coordinator is Ken Dorsey. I believe Ken Dorsey came from Buffalo. So you're definitely going to see a more wide open, spread out offense. And if they treat Amari Cooper like they did Stephon Diggs, he's going to get about 14 targets a game. So Diggs is definitely going to get that lower body tested this week because Amari Cooper's probably going to see a lot of targets coming his way.
And he's the best route runner in this league to this day. I don't care what people say. There is no one quite like Amari Cooper when it comes to running routes. So,
yeah, former Miami Hurricane. All right, let's go to the next key matchup I have pointed out. And someone asked a question about the other corner. So again, goes to our other key matchup. And that is Kalen Carson, rookie, 4th round pick, first game going against Jerry Jeudy. I don't know if you guys who don't really follow the league know, but Jerry Jeudy, former Denver Bronco, former 1st round pick, drafted ahead of CeeDee Lamb, was traded to Cleveland this offseason. So he's going to play, and he's going to be motivated to show that he is still a 1st round talent. So he draws Kalen Carson in this week's matchup for his Cleveland Browns debut. Amanda, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, Jerry didn't get how do I put this? He didn't really get a lot of respect where he was. And he really went through a rotating door, I guess you could say, really. So when it comes to being in a better environment, I could see him thriving. With Kalen, you know, they call him Seatbelt. That's the big nickname for him is Seatbelt. And we're going to find out how much if Diggs can lock down Cooper, we're going to see a lot of this matchup. And I expect them to test him early. I really, really expect them to test Kalen Carson early. You got a rookie out there. I mean, Deshaun's not stupid. He's going to test him. He's very well aware that side of the field will be covered by a rookie. And Judy's got some legs. That man can get. So we'll see. I don't know how they're really going to do this. With Bland, it was a lot easier because you could pull back someone for help. I'm grateful that we have a really strong safety core.
Safety group, yeah.
That's really going to be helpful for us. I think Marquise Bell is going to be a very, very big factor in this game, helping because he's going to be we're going to need him because Carson can get cooked if he's not careful.
Yeah. So. And that's what Marlon just said. Jeudy might cook this game. And thank you for joining, Marlon. And also thank you for joining Steven Muzaika from Denton, Texas. Okay, let me see. Do I have any other key matchups that I want to note? I got one more, of course. Gotta talk about Micah Parsons
versus Jared
Wills former first-round pick. To me, Jedrick Wills has been kind of an underperformer. Probably one of the few weak spots on their offensive line. And he has to face Micah Parsons in this week's matchup. And to backtrack a little bit, I don't know how much he's gonna see Micah Parsons and Marlon. I was just about to say it. You just hit on that. According to the tweets that Micah's been putting out, Mike Zimmer has him playing all over the field.
Everywhere.
So he may not be playing defensive end as much as we think. We kind of hinted to that earlier in the offseason, where we may see more lineups with Marshawn Nealon at edge and Micah Parsons blitzing from that A gap on top of the center. You got the two big defensive tackles. So like I said about Dallas, and Cleveland may try to isolate the center one-on-one. Dallas may find opportunities to isolate Cleveland center one-on-one against Micah Parsons to see if he can get some good pass rushes and cause some disruption up the middle.
I'm very interested, just because you've brought up a slide with Micah. I'm very curious to see how Zimmer utilizes him. I felt like Dan Quinn used him okay, but he got very comfortable with playing Micah, and it was very repetitive at times. Micah was in the same position. It was hard. You want your star player to be unplannable. You do not want it to be, if you have a player like Micah who you can move around, you want to do that. That makes it so you can't predict where he's going to be, and you can't plan for that. I think Zimmer is an old school coach. He's going to unlock parts of Micah Parsons that we have not seen yet. I really hope that Zimmer utilizes him correctly and doesn't lock him up in a box. Yeah. It's kind of like how Dan would move safeties up to linebacker and kind of devalued that position. This is an opportunity to really see Micah at a different level, and I'm excited to see that.
So we got a lot of comments about this. Jeff Pop saying we still don't know how Zimmer's going to use Parsons yet. Mendoza kind of back on what I said about Jedrick Wills.
He was bad.
He was bad, yeah. He was the only weak link they have on the offensive line. So we get a good opportunity to take advantage of that if we need to. Jason Layton saying he thinks Micah's threat comes from freeing up other pass rushers. That could be possible as well. Again, double A gap. If you got Micah on the outside and you got two linebackers up against the center, well, if you double on Micah on the outside, that means pretty much everybody else has one-on-one. And now that center has two guys in front of him,
right?
And he can only choose one.
You got to go with one. Yeah.
He has to choose right, or it's going to be a problem. So, Jason Layton, you're definitely right about that. Surreal Israel says Micah's going to be a dog this week.
I think this could be a very, very good game for Micah too. Micah took a lot of flack this offseason, and I also think he's got something to prove. So, and this is a contract year for Micah Parsons. Nobody forget that. This is in fact, that's one of the things going for us. Really, I know people don't think about it. They just, everyone's so fixated on the Dak situation. There are a lot of players playing for contract. Deron Bland, Jake Ferguson, Micah Parsons. Who else? Tyler Smith. There's plenty more. Osa's playing. Who else is there? D-Law's on a contract.
Zach Martin.
So I do truly expect that certain players will excel because, if you're playing the best football of your life, that commands more money. So
about a third of our starters are either due a contract or on the last year of a contract.
That's why I think Dak's probably going to go absolutely ham if we don't get some news in the next 3 days, and it's looking real unlikely. So
the only thing I'm hanging my hat on right now, Jerry Jones, ultimate marketing guy, loves to steal the thunder of the NFL.
Maybe he'll comment on Friday so we can take the thunder from Philly.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. You steal the thunder for Friday night, and you steal the thunder from all the people talking about the Thursday night game.
That's true.
So you slide it in Friday morning, and then watch how the comments and all the media markets
switch
on
quickly.
that.
Yeah, because that would completely Man, I hope he does. That'd be nice because no matter what anyone says, there is not a better option next year.
Yeah.
Not a better option. So.
Yep. So Cortland says Micah and Kendricks makes a good linebacker combo, especially on that inside blitz, definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, Jeff says double A gap blitz will be deadly. All right. Rachel Neen saying I like Zimmer. I hope he makes the defense better. Cyril said, what's our boy name? He got injured last year. I'm sure you're talking about Overshown, the linebacker.
Look, I don't know if y'all saw real quick because I'm really excited. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook, and I have never seen someone like I'm getting kind of some insider looks at the way that man thinks about football. It's a surreal moment to be anybody's friend. Like I'm George Teague. I've got a few lists of older players, but for a absolute person to be friends with me on Facebook, I'm seeing things that he's posting. That man lives, breathes, eats, sleeps football, and he is really excited to prove himself. And I really, really think that I don't know if he can figure out how to call the defense like Eric Kendricks can. That dude is going to be a stud. I'm excited to see him this year. Sorry, Marcus. I'm really excited to see Overshown play. I think, and just so you know, what was it, Steven, you mentioned earlier, why is he not starting? You got to remember, there's not just one linebacker on the field usually. Yeah. So where you see Eric Kendricks is your LB1, next to it, you've got another one. And the reason it states that, it's because so you've got a Mike linebacker. Hold on, now I can't remember all the words. They just literally left me. Mike linebacker, what?
The wheel linebacker.
There you go. There's multiple linebacker positions. So that's why you see it that way.
Yeah.
They're all listed as linebacker, but each one has a specific job they do. So.
Right. And also, I know we're all super excited and we're looking forward to seeing what Overshown has to offer. But we got to realize he's also coming off a season-ending surgery, and he plays a position where there's a lot of collision. So they could just be trying to slow play him for the first week or two because he didn't play a lot of preseason, and they just want to make sure they work him back in slowly. To add on to that again, he was a rookie last year. He didn't play. So this would officially be his first NFL game. So there are a lot of factors you got to consider as to why he wasn't listed as a starting linebacker. I'm sure he's going to play a lot. He probably will end up being the starter. Yeah. But for the unofficial depth chart purposes, he was not listed as a starter, but that does not mean we're not going to see a lot of Overshown come Sunday.
He looked pretty good in the preseason too, what very little they played.
Little snaps, yeah. Really good, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Franco says it's going to be an X factor. Cortland saying D-Law can be gone yesterday.
Man,
well, I think you only have 17 to 21 games to worry about that, Cortland.
And, you know, I just want to say, too, D-Law gets so much crap because of the size of his contract, but you have to give it to him. The dude has absolute heart, and he really flies around out there. I think he's half the reason our running game was as decent, and it wasn't very good, so it was at least decent last year. He just gets a lot of crap, so.
So Steven Franco asked the question, is Mozzie going to be inside still? He's definitely going to be playing defensive tackle, but he's definitely not going to be a starter. So another game within a game. Pay attention to how much Mozzie plays. If he's listed at nose tackle, we signed Linval Joseph, 34-year-old nose tackle, probably not going to play a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
So the question will be, is Mozzie playing behind him or is he playing behind Phillips at 3-tech? That would determine how many snaps Mozzie gets, but he's definitely not going to be a starter.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy made a comment that said it wasn't very reassuring, but it was saying he's getting better, basically, is what it said. And it wasn't very hopeful. They can't say hateful stuff, obviously. So he just said he's doing what we asked him to do. So.
Yeah. And Brian saying he heard that Overshown's dealing with a hamstring and he'll be played slowly into the game. That's possible also.
Very possible.
Yeah. All right. So that's all the key matchups I have. We're 45 minutes. Let's go into our next segment. Somebody brought it up. and that will be our X factors. Now, I don't have the nice transition screen for that yet, so we'll just roll right into it. I'm trying to work on a special effect with bringing up the X and all that type of stuff, so I haven't gotten it the way I want it yet. Again, I'm a perfectionist, so I don't want to bring it out if it's not up to my standards. So we got a couple of X factors for you guys, and X factors are guys who some of them may be the big name players, some of them may be lesser known guys, but these are guys, whether they play good or bad, they can have a tremendous impact on the outcome of the game. So I've chosen 4 of them that I think are going to be really important. We talked about this one a little bit a while ago. First X factor is Deshaun Watson. Now, Deshaun Watson 3 years ago was seen as arguably the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And over the past 3 years, because of outside personal and legal issues, I just leave it at that, he's fallen off a cliff. But he's back now. He's healthy. He's still an extremely athletic quarterback. He has a very talented roster around him. We just talked about Judy and Lamb. We didn't even talk about the tight end, Njoku. They have a quality offensive line. If Deshaun Watson taps into 80% of what he was in Houston, he could be a problem this game. But if he keeps going the same route he's been going the past 3 years, he could be the weak link. So that's why I have him as an X factor. Bruiser Burrow saying depends on if he got a massage before the game.
Well, at least someone said it, because I was thinking something along the lines of it. So
I don't know if Jeff Pop and Bruiser Burrows are sharing an account or not, because Jeff Pop typed the exact same thing right after him.
That's hilarious.
All right, so let's go to another X factor. Amanda, you had something else to
well,
say
real
about
quick
Watson?
on the Deshaun thing. He's so hit and miss, but he can really make or break this game for Cleveland. Like we saw games last year where you saw, flashes of who he was in Houston. And I mean, they didn't sell the farm. Literally, they mortgaged so much to get this man on their team, which is crazy given the situation. Houston won that trade like crazy. Look at what Houston's got on the field now and what they've been able to do. And it's all because of how much they got for getting rid of Deshaun. So if he can be what he used to be, if he could even be, you said 80, I'd give it 60% of who he was in Houston. We're going to have a lot of problems, but there were also games last year where he cost them the game. So I think it can go either way. So.
Steve Franco asked the question, when will we help fantasy lineups? I have a few to ask. Normally on the pregame show, I have a segment called Fantasy Favorites where I'll list a couple of fantasy favorites I have. But Stephen Franco, if you have some questions tonight, because I'm not able to do a couple of segments because we don't have a game to talk about, we'll have a little bit of time at the end. So if you want to put some fantasy questions in here, I'll be more than happy to answer them as best as I can and help you to win your week 1. Cyril Israel saying he's like Russell Wilson. His time has came and left. Love both of them, but they're not going to be the same talent they used to be. Wish both of them the best of luck. You say that, but then you have a guy like a Geno Smith who everybody wrote off.
Right. And now look at him.
And now he's got his 3rd contract. So you just never know about certain guys in certain situations. I don't think anybody can say Deshaun Watson's problems were talent. We know the talent's there. The question is, can he get out of his own head? Can he stay injury-free? And can he tap back into it? And Bruiser Burrows saying, yeah, Flacco did outplay him 10-1. Definitely right.
He played great. Yeah, but and I give that a lot of credit to the Browns last year was their defense. It was absolutely insane. So.
All right, we got a couple of more fantasy favorites. And you what?
Mean X factors?
X factors, I'm sorry. I was just looking at
It's okay. You called Cooper Lamb earlier. I just didn't want to correct you.
Hey, please correct me. I make mistakes too.
I know you do. I was just going to give you a hard time later.
All right, so since we're at a point, let's reset for a second. Let's go to our second. Let's go to our second trivia question for a
Okay.
giveaway. So Amanda, let the people know what they will win this time.
Okay. So this one, let's see, what should I do? I'm trying to decide. They're about the same in value. So let's do a signed mini helmet. This is from 3218 Property Management Group. It's a good friend of mine. Chris Carter owns it. If you need a rental in Lubbock, that's who you call. But he's a great friend, and he's a wonderful friend of the show, and he's always taking care of us. So this will be a signed mini helmet. All you have to do is the same rules. Message me in 72 hours. You got to be a Cowboys fan. Got to follow Marcus and DC Farrell on YouTube and Facebook. And then we don't have the issue anymore with giving permission, so that's not too big of a deal. But all the same stuff, and just send me a message. So good luck, and I hope this question isn't terribly difficult, and I'm sorry if it is.
I think this one is fairly easy. And William Wiggins, thank you for joining us. Definitely appreciate you tuning in.
Welcome back.
And we do have a couple of more X factors, so we're going to talk about that also. So again, the first person who answers correctly will win the prize. So whoever knows it or whoever can Google the fastest will win the autographed mini helmet.
Yeah.
So this next question is, how much did Jerry Jones pay for the Dallas Cowboys? If you Google it, I'm sure it'll pop up quickly. So how much did Jerry Jones pay for the Dallas Cowboys? First one to comment correctly wins the autographed mini helmet. 800 million by Cortland Haskett. No, that's not it. Got a couple of. No, these numbers are way too low. So I see we have a winner. Sorry, Jason Layton, you came in a second too late. Rosa or Roscoe with 140 million.
Congratulations.
So we're 2 for 2 with women on these trivia questions.
Look at
Amanda.
that.
Let's see if they get the third one.
Okay. Well, just shoot me a message, or if it's easier, you can message the DC Frail Facebook page. If you can't find me, you can message the DC Frail Facebook page, and I can get you there too. So shoot me a message with your address, and we will get it taken care of.
All right. So this the third question is going to be extremely difficult. So I hope you guys got your
Google fingers ready.
We'll get to it at the end of the show. So continue to stick with us. We got a couple of X factors, and then we have something a little bit more interactive, and then we'll close it out. We're at 53 minutes, so we're still making great time. Let's go back into the X factors. Now, we can pretty much go through the roster and pick X factors out, but I try to pick the ones who aren't the guys that we're consistently relying on, who, if they do perform, they're going to make a big impact on the game. So another one is, of course, the return man, Kevontae Turpin. Now, we got the new kickoff rules that were basically molded by our special teams coordinator to make sure Turpin can have a successful return year. We didn't see him in preseason, so this is going to be the first game we see him. Can he make some plays on the road that can springboard this team to a victory? Amanda, what are your thoughts about Turpin and him being an X factor?
Kevontae Turpin is also in a contract year, which is funny. I mean, he's also in a contract year, so he's literally playing for his next check. And, you know, you look at all the people up, it's going to be hard to keep. And this is one I really want to. I think that we're going to see a different Turpin this year. I think we're going to see him a lot in the offense, but I really think he might break one off. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I expect in the first 5 games, we see one taken to the house by Turpin in these new rules. I really, really think so. I'm excited for this, and I think he's got a lot to prove too. You remember the first preseason game he played in, what was it, 2? He got 2, right?
Yeah.
And he hasn't even gotten close since. So I really think we're going to see one very soon from this man. And I hope it's this game. That'd be a great way to start the season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. I keep using the phrase game within a game. I'm almost thinking I got to make that another segment.
You might need to.
I was about to say game within a game. We know our special teams coordinator is one of the architects of the new rules.
Yeah.
And whenever you go through preseason, everybody's kind of vanilla in terms of new wrinkles they're going to try. Pay attention to kickoff return and see if you notice any unusual formations, unusual personnel, any kind of trick plays, because Bones Fossil, according to him, spent a lot of time coming up with some of these rules, and he said to benefit him. So let's see what he has in store to manipulate the rules that he helped create to give the Cowboys an advantage. I said during the offseason, I expect to see an offensive lineman on kickoff return. I still expect to see that.
Who do you think? Who do you think it'll be if you had to guess?
I mean, it'll probably be some backup tackle. It would be like a Sim Richards, Matt Waletzko, somebody like that. I just think when you look at it, it doesn't have to be an all-star because it's kickoff return. All you need is a athletic, long-armed guy, because it's all about how they're only 10 yards apart. So
right.
if I'm a tackle and I have a 7-foot wingspan and I have a linebacker lined up in front of me, if I can get my hands on him, I'm going to pretty much take him wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
And that's going to leave a big opening wherever I came from. And he can't avoid me, because if he does, if he tries to run around me, now he's leaving a gap behind me, and there's an alley for the kicker. I mean, for the kickoff returner. So just something to pay attention to. I still think it's going to happen. I'm just waiting to see it. Billy Haley saying Trey Lance on special teams. Unfortunately, Trey Lance is going to be an inactive for this game.
I still think he's the fastest running back we got, but no
he
one
probably is.
Yeah. But he's going to be inactive, and I know I'm about to break some people's hearts with what I'm about to say too. Is I also expect Juice Vaughn to be someone else that might be an inactive. I mean, he set a lot of 53-man out. Just
I would be shocked if Deuce Vaughn is active this week. I wish I could pull the roster up, because there are going to be 7 inactives. Just while we're talking about it right now, let's just think about the roster really quick and think about who would be an inactive. We know Trey Lance is going to be an inactive because of the new rules.
Yeah, he's your emergency quarterback.
Right, emergency quarterbacks, they can be inactive, but they can still play, so there's no incentive to make him an active player. I would probably say the 6th wide receiver will probably be inactive, whoever that may be.
I'm going to pull up the roster.
Flournoy, that's Flournoy or Brooks. So that's 2. Oh man,
Deuce Vaughn.
I'm counting Deuce Vaughn as an inactive, so that's 3.
Brevin Spanford, I think he'll be inactive.
How many tight ends do we have on the roster?
4.
Who's the 4th one?
It's Schoonmaker,
okay,
Ferguson.
Brevin Spanford is going to be inactive.
John Stevens Jr. and Brevin Spanford.
Well, John Stevens Jr. is dealing with an injury, so it may be him.
Okay, yeah, maybe it'll be one of the tight ends.
It'll be one of the tight ends. So we named the quarterback, running back, tight end, 1 offensive lineman, probably Matt Waletzko if I had to guess. So that's 5.
Mukuamu, what do you think? You think Izzy's going to be inactive?
Or
Buddy Johnson?
It would probably be Buddy Johnson if I had to guess. We only have 5 corners on the roster.
Yeah.
It would be hard for one of 5 corners to be inactive, because if God forbid there's an injury, you pretty much don't have a replacement.
I think you're right. I think that'll be it then. So that's 6, right? We're at
6. 7th, defensive, maybe Tyrus Wheat. Probably Tyrus Wheat if I had to guess. Defensive lineman. A lot of people
have to be. I can't think of anyone else. I'm looking at this list. You aren't going to set your. I mean, I guess you could put a TJ Bass or a Waletzko or an Asim Richards. I guess you could put one of them. But, with the way our history with injuries and offensive line, I just don't think that that's where they'd go. I think it'll be Tyrus Wheat.
Yeah.
I would guess, because you look at everyone else, Linville Joseph, Jordan Phillips, Chauncey Golston, Marshawn Nealand. I don't see any of them sitting.
No, those are heavy rotation guys.
So,
Definitely not.
yeah, I think it's Tyrus.
Yeah.
Buddy, Tyrus, Deuce, maybe John or Brevin, depending on injury history. Deuce, Trey Lance. And I think I'm missing someone already. So,
yeah. So that was just us going through the list quickly and making Deuce an inactive. So if Deuce is active, now you still got to find a person to replace him.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a difficult task. And that's not saying he's a bad player. That's not saying he doesn't earn a shot.
Now,
that's just the NFL rules. You have to have 7 inactive.
Now, here's the question. Do they call up Dalvin? Is this the game you call up Dalvin Cook? I mean, he's only been there, a week? Is this the game you bring him up?
That's a good question.
Or and Carl Lawson? I mean,
I've been kind of going back. I don't think Carl Lawson's been called up.
I don't think so either. But I'm just thinking of the veterans, because you only get what, 2? 2 times or 3?
3.
3?
Yeah. Maybe Dalvin Cook gets called up. Maybe.
I look at, because I think that's going to be what I think this game's going to come down to the Cowboys is how good we can run the ball. I look at their corners. I think Jake Ferguson could have a very good game.
I agree.
I think he's going to slip in right in that special spot. I think I could see Jake having a very, very big game. I don't know if Dalvin – my thing with Dalvin is he hadn't been there quite long enough to know the system, but then at the same time, you look at him, he's a former Viking, so he's very familiar with Zimmer, but he's not familiar with the Cowboys offense. Yeah. So that would be the only reason I think Dalvin doesn't get called out is because he doesn't know the system well enough yet. So.
Yeah. And he's not in football shape either.
Not yet, no. So maybe wait till one of your Giants games or something just to kind of get him back in the flow.
Yeah, I think if it's him or Carl Lawson, I think it's a minimum 2 weeks before we see either one of them. We probably won't use a call up on a guy. And the rules are weird because you could have 7, you have to have 7 inactives, but you can call up 2 guys on the practice squad and they can play.
Yeah.
So I would probably look at maybe a Josh Ball, maybe that corner we just signed.
I can't remember his name.
I can't think of his name either, but he could be another guy that's called up. So just pay attention to that. Okay, let's get back into X factors. We're at 1 hour 3 minutes. I've got 2 more X factors, and if you guys have one, feel free to put it up. So the other X factor I want to talk about is we talked about this one before. Jerry Jeudy, former first-round pick. Didn't live up to expectations. Cleveland got him for a cheap trade. He is going to be in a rehab his career, try to get a big contract mode. Because if you look at his draft class, Devontae Smith got a big contract. Yep. CeeDee Lamb got a big contract. Chase is about to get a big contract. Justin Jefferson's getting a big contract. These are guys that went in his draft class or the class after him, and they're all making 9 figures, and he's on his second team hoping he can make the roster. So this could be his coming out party week 1 going against a rookie corner in Kalen Carson. So definitely got to pay attention to that one. You got anything to add on that one, Amanda, before I go to the last one?
I think Jerry's got this we talked about it earlier. This is going to be a really big test on our rookie. So I think that Jerry could very well hold the game in his hands on how well he does. If he plays well in the Cleveland system and Kalen struggles, that it could get nasty really on that side of the ball. But we've got a good safety core. So we'll see. I mean, Jerry's really not lived up to the hype. So
at all.
He's got if he wants a big contract, he better start playing well.
Yeah. And Bruiser Burrow saying he hasn't had any stability, definitely hasn't in Denver.
No.
They were looking for him to be the man in Denver. Maybe he's not built to be the man, but he's built to be a good 1B guy. And you got Amari Cooper opposite you. So that's a great chance to kind of just go under the radar and be a great number 2 or a solid 1B, kind of like a Devontae Smith in Philly.
And I just look at what Amari gave to CeeDee Lamb. I'm sorry, we see a lot of aspect of in CeeDee's game from Amari's game. There's a lot of similarity there. I don't think that CeeDee is as good on the outside as Amari is. I mean, he's great. I think CeeDee's better in the slot than Amari is. So there's, give and take there. But with Jerry having that, with Judy having that veteran leadership that can really show him the ropes, I think it could also improve his game.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got one more segment to go through, so be sure to stick with us. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching. We still have one giveaway to do, so stick with us through this last segment. But I got one more X factor I want to talk about, and I feel like this one is very important. Now, for Dallas, I could put any linebacker you want up there. You got Overshown first game. You got Leo Fowles, a rookie. You got Damone Clark, who reports out of Dallas are he's looked the best he's ever looked. Yep. I'm putting the X factor as Eric Kendricks. And the reason is because we have not had a linebacker calling the defense in probably 6 years. So for the first time in 6 years, we have a true middle linebacker who's going to be calling the defense. He's going to begin the defensive lineman set. He's going to be directing traffic with the other linebackers. And he's going to be the guy responsible for filling in the gaps on running downs. So we, for the first time, have a natural linebacker who's going to be filling a middle linebacker role. And even though we talk about the weapons Cleveland has, they are still a ground and pound running attack with or without Nick Chubb. So Eric Kendricks is going to be extremely important in defending the run game and also possibly helping cover Njoku running routes. So I could have put any linebacker here, but the fact that Kendricks is a Mike and we haven't had one in forever, I just think this guy's going to be a major X factor.
My concern with Kendricks is injury history. I'm hopeful. That's, because he's, like you said, we've talked about this. He's the one that has called the plays. He's got that experience. We need to hope Eric stays on the field is the right way to put it, I guess.
Yeah. Bruiser Burrow said Jalen was the last to call it, I believe. If you want to call that calling plays, okay. He may have had the green dot. I don't know how good he was at actually calling the defense, but he did technically play middle linebacker for us. I'll give you that one. All right, guys, we're down to the last segment of the show. So in this segment, because we are fueled by your questions and comments, we want to get you guys a little bit more interactive in the show. So the last segment is called Over Under, where I will give you guys some statistics and you tell me whether or not the player will go over or under that stat. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it with some over-unders for this week's game.
Yes.
Over under.
All right. So our first over under. Amari Cooper versus Trayvon Diggs. Amari Cooper, we know he's going to get a lot of targets. I just talked about it. Over under 90 yards receiving for Amari Cooper. Let me know in the comments what you think over under 90 yards receiving for Amari Cooper. Amanda, you want to go first?
I'm just upset that you did this to me. No, I'm kidding. Y'all don't want to hear it. I'm telling you, Amari's going to have 100 to 150 yards this game.
Wow.
Yeah.
150.
I think Diggs is going to struggle. I think Diggs is going to struggle to get back into game mode. And I don't mean that it's any hate on Diggs. I just think that Amari's revenge is going to be more prone than Trevon getting back in the game mode. So I think he's going to have a very big game. And so does my fantasy team.
So I see we got a lot of overs here. We got Jeff going over, Billy Haley saying over, Rachel Nean saying over, Brian over.
See?
Then the under started popping in. Jeff Pop, William
Charlie.
Wiggins. So it's pretty split. It's pretty split right now between overs and unders, which is surprising to me because I definitely have them going over.
Yeah.
I'm not saying 150, but
I just think it's going to be a big game. I do. I know. And it's probably, and it might just be one insane pass, like one really big chunk play that gets it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be like constant. I think there's going to be one really big chunk play that he takes to the house.
Okay.
Now, I don't want it to happen.
You're giving him a touchdown also.
I am. And so's my fantasy team because I took him in a couple leagues. But I do. I think Amari's going to have a wonderful game because it's really just, a chance for him to say, look what you did, Jerry. Look what you let go. And now look, your player that you signed over me and let me go is retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Chris Hennigan saying he was always available. He played a lot of his career as a backup. That must have been about an older question. Sharon Hendrickson saying over. We got Charlie joining us with Establish the Pass saying under. And guys, be sure to follow Charlie, Establish the Pass. I'll probably be on his show next Tuesday night to do a recap of the first game, but you can still come and find us on Wednesday on the Fifth Quarter Podcast to talk about next week's game as well. I got quite a few overs coming in now. Corlin Haskins saying Judy may also go over. Billy Haley saying, sadly, he will get his yards. So it looks like we got quite a few overs over here. All right, so Mendoza says, I have Cooper in a money league. I don't know if I'll play him or not. I'll be honest, Mendoza, I have Cooper on about 4 of my fantasy teams, and he's definitely starting on Sunday for me.
Definitely starting.
As much as I hate it.
As much as you hate it, right?
Yeah, as much as I hate it, he's definitely going to be a starter on my team.
And just so you know, Marcus, I know you know this. You've seen my team. You even stole him from me in the DC Frail Admin League. You took him right out from under me. But I have him in a few leagues. And the thing about it is that how do I put this? It's not necessarily that I want him to have success. I just look at Amari Cooper. It's his first game. He just restructured. Like, he did this weird thing with his contract, too, to make it work better for Cleveland. He's such a fair team player. Barring something devastating, I know it's well over 90. So.
Okay. So, Amanda doubling down with well over 90 now. Okay. Yeah. All right. And a touchdown, by the way.
And a touchdown. That's right.
Okay. Tell us where your loyalties lie, Amanda.
Oh, hey, look. Not in Jerry Jones and his dollar fry and a McDouble salesmanship. So.
All right. So let's go to another wide receiver. This one could have also been an X factor, but going back to the Dallas side, we've got Brandon Cooks. So Brandon Cooks started off slow last year and started to pick up steam in the second half of the season. We've got CeeDee Lamb missing pretty much all the training camp, coming back in his first game, and we may have to rely on Brandon Cooks a little bit more to get the offense rolling. So over under 65 receiving yards for Brandon Cooks.
I'm kind of shocked that some people are saying, some of y'all really think, look, I think Brandon might have built such great, I've seen some really, I know it's just camp, but it really looked, we saw last year, Dak and Brandon really got that connection going. And I really think that we're going to see it more this year. I'm also going over for Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
So
we had a couple of unders, but it looks like for the most part, everybody else is saying over. Jeff giving him a deep bomb. Billy Haley saying 100-yard game.
Ooh, I hope so. I got him too.
Yeah, got a couple of overs. William Wiggins saying and a touchdown. Yeah, Jeff Pop saying he's no Amari, huh, Amanda?
But he's not. I love Brandon Cooks. He's just also just like Jerry Jeudy. The thing with the difference in that is he has been bounced around other teams, but he's always been successful. What is it? 5 teams with 1,000-yard seasons? 4 or 5 different teams. So I think Brandon's going to go over there too. I think he'll get a touchdown too. I really think CD's going to be, I think he's going to be pretty locked down. I expect CD to get quite a few yards, but I think that will open the door because of who's on CD. I don't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I know you do. The corner covering CD.
Greg Newsome the second.
Correct. Yes. So I think it'll open up the ability for Brandon, just like I do. I think Ferguson's going to have a really good game too. So
yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the Cleveland side of the ball, offensive side of the ball, and we'll talk about Jerome Ford, who's filling in for Nick Chubb. Again, Cleveland's roots is smash mouth, running the ball between the tackles. 70 yards rushing for Jerome Ford. Let me know what you guys think. 75 yards rushing for Jerome Ford, over or under? We have an improved front seven, 2 big defensive tackles, 3 pure linebackers. But Cleveland's bread and butter is always going to be running the football. Jerome Ford, after Nick Chubb got hurt, did have almost 1,000 yards for the season last year. And he's been training as the number 1 guy the entire offseason. Over, under 70 yards. I see you thinking over there, Amanda. What you thinking about?
I'm trying to decide how much I trust our front seven.
Okay.
We struggled so much. We struggled so much with the run last year, but I'm trying to blame that on Dan Quinn in hopes. I think you said I can't go flat. So
no, we don't do
no pushing. I know.
Brian has followed this show for 4 years. He knows we don't do pushes here, but I'll let it slide.
I was sitting there. I'm right there with you, Brian. Slightly over. I'll go slightly over on that. So I want to see how much the run game's really improved. It's hard doing these, not knowing what we're going to have. So,
you know what? I'm leaning slightly over also because I just know they like to run the ball a lot. They're at home. I think the game's going to be competitive, so I think they're going to do a lot of running. Billy Haley saying under, hopefully. Stephen White having about 84 yards. Jeff saying the tackles will eat up the running lanes. I definitely hope so. But like Jeff Pop said, we can't stop anything till we prove it.
Amen.
Bruiser Burrow kind of following up on that, saying, I don't know how much we've improved in the run game, so we definitely got to see. Mendoza got a slightly over. And Mendoza making a great point. They also have another running back named Pierre Strong. We don't know what the split will be. It could be a balanced running game similar to what I think we'll be doing. So he may not get all the opportunities to be able to get that many rushing yards. But I think 70 is a good number. Brian has about 75. I think I'm kind of leaning towards that also. All right. The last over-under, we're at hour 20 minutes. So on the last over-under, I like to do more of a choose one instead of an over-under on statistics. So the last over-under, we haven't talked about this a lot. And Amanda, I know you've been holding this in for quite a while, talking about Zeke Elliott.
Oh, my.
Which of our running backs has more rushing yards in this week's game? Now, I put Dalvin Cook up here. I don't. They could surprise me and make them active, but I doubt it. But I put them up here anyway. But which running back do you think has more rushing yards? Let me know in the comments. And Amanda, whatever you're going to say about Zeke earlier, go ahead and let us know your thoughts.
Hi, Steven. I see you commenting. Hello. Man, I'm trying to be nice. I think that Zeke is going to be a man, I don't know. I don't want to make people mad. I think Zeke's going to play really well, but I really think we're going to utilize him more in the red zone. So I expect Rico to have more. I think he's going to be more of your featured back. Now, it's never going to say that on the depth chart, but I think Rico, he's going to be the one that's got less, I guess you call it tread on the tires. I think they're going to utilize Rico more between the 20s. And you're going to see a lot of Zeke because we struggled last year so much in the red zone. think about that one game. I can't remember what game it was, but Tony didn't even reach to go over the goal line. Like he was like inches from scoring a touchdown. He just didn't have that push. That he didn't have the size, is what it really was. He didn't have the ability to really push and get in there. So I think Rico is going to be the guy who gets those yards, and Zeke, like he'll get the more yards of the two, and Zeke's going to get your hard yards.
Yeah.
Like he's your third down back. That's my expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that people look, we love Zeke. I love Zeke. I just don't think that Zeke's 29. Yeah, 29. And he's got a lot of miles on the tires.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's still played well behind a really terrible line in New England. Stacy, if you're watching this, I love your son. That's not a problem. Okay, I love him. It's just that I don't think Zeke is the 2016, 2017, 2018 Zeke. I mean, he's just kind of slowly come down. I expect him to still play well. He played well when Ramondre Stevenson went down. He played fine when he filled in. But I don't think he has the ability to be that bell cow back anymore. So
I agree. Everything you said. Looking at the comments, it looks like it's overwhelmingly Rico. We got a couple of Zekes. Candace Ruiz said Zeke. Jeff said Zeke. Stephen White said Zeke with 95 yards rushing. But everybody else is pretty much saying Rico. Cortland saying Rico, but Zeke will have the touchdowns.
The problem with this is Jerry Jones is so in charge of players. He has so much control of situations that he shouldn't have control of as an owner. Like, it makes me angry. If you see Zeke getting more than Charlie said 12, I'm going to say it too. If you see him get more than 12 carries, it's not because Mike McCarthy thinks that's what should happen. That's all I'm saying. Okay. It's not because Zeke needs them or because he's the better option. It's simply name alone.
Yep. Yeah, and like Charlie said, no running back on this team should have more than 12. I would say, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, and I hope Stacey's not watching.
I do too.
I don't know if Zeke's capable of giving you 12 carries a game, because before he left, he would get 2 carries,
and get
gassed. And then we see this.
Yeah. He was gassed.
So like all you guys have been saying, Zeke may be the RB1 for the depth chart, but I think Rico's gonna get the lion's share of the carries. But even with that, I don't know if it's gonna be 12 to 15 absolute max, and that's in a game where we're kind of just trying to run the clock out. Stephen White said, "Good thing we're a passing team, even if we don't establish the pass." That's a play on Charlie's social media name. Jeff Pop saying he'll be here our first home game for jersey sales. Then he's gone by week 4.
I don't think so.
As much as I would like to see that, Jeff Pop, jersey sales are going to go past week 4.
Yeah,
he's going to get a full year out of this. Trust me, and he's going to be the starter every week. Cortland has. I got your question, Cortland. We'll hit that one in a second. And Amanda, you said we were 4 likes away from 100. We did just hit 100.
Oh, we did? Nice.
Yeah.
It didn't update for me yet. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Wow. That's fantastic.
Jeff Pop saying if Zeke has 95, we're down by 21.
I hope we're not running the ball if we're down by 21.
Yeah. Hey, Kellen Moore's out of here. So hopefully we don't see that.
Man, I am excited. Real quick on that note, I'm really excited to see how much Kellen Moore ruins Jalen Hurts even more. Y'all, that makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know what the deal is with that. Can't wait for that Brazil game. It should be quite interesting.
Yeah, so Cortland's in one of my fantasy leagues, and I was telling them that in the chat, so I'm glad you said it and not me. As Cowboy fans, we know what Kellen Moore will do to an offense, and they just think, oh, they're not gonna allow Kellen Moore to not throw the ball to AJ Brown,
Dallas Goedert. I didn't take Dallas in fantasy because even though I know Kellen loves his tight ends, he just So I don't know. I don't. Jalen Hurts is going to be put in that bubble that we saw Dak get put in.
Yep.
and make him a pure pocket passer. And if anyone's watched Jalen Hurts throw the ball enough, that is not Jalen's. He is better on the run. He's a good scramble guy. So
yep. Yeah, Kellen Moore makes the quarterback have to find the open guy. There's no, I'm gonna scheme for this guy to be open on first and 10. No, these are my routes. You find the open guy. We haven't seen Jalen Hurts do that in his career.
It's a very developed. He lets plays develop. You watch the way Kellen and his stuff is very long tenured, and you've got these things going on the outside, and your players are getting open, and your quarterback's just standing there like, "Hey, block for me. Don't let nobody hit me." That's the bread and butter of Kellen. We saw it with Justin Herbert last year, and it's just, I don't know. And it leads me, I'm going to say something that people aren't going to agree with. We saw Dak take a jump with Kellen Moore away from here. So that tells you the type of box that Dak was put in to fit Kellen Moore's scheme. So,
and also CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb under 2 years with Kellen Moore was a borderline 1,000-yard receiver.
Yep.
The last 2 years,
1,700.
He's just out of the water in terms of production. Cortland Haskin throwing in one more over under. So guys, let us get your thoughts on this over under, and then we'll do our last giveaway. So over under 250 passing yards for Dak.
Well, I'd like to answer this to see if the contract comes out. No, I really think, first of all, Dak is obviously a team player and he's there. He would have gotten fined, but he's got plenty of money to pay it. So I think that's going to be, I expect Dak between 250 and 300. That would be where I put it if our wide receivers can get out from under their corners. That's going to be a big, if we're literally having to dump it off to a Ferguson, a Schoonmaker in the slot, I don't think it's going to be that high, but I would think between 250 and 300 is my guess and like in my heart. So,
okay. We got a lot of overs. Jeff being the contrarian tonight, he's gone the opposite of the chat every time. He said under. Mendoza said under. He doesn't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Everybody else is saying over. And
it's very possible this could be a low-scoring game. If you want to look at it that aspect, just because of if our defense is if they can be just, last year our defense was so hot and cold. That was the issue with it. It was either really, really good or it really struggled. So it would really depend on how the defense is going to control the narrative of this game on both sides of the ball. So.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Chris has one.
All right. Mendoza said Jalen Hurts leads the league in INTs. Would not be well. I would probably
last year, right? Or was it right below it? He had 17 last year.
If he had 17, he led the league. So
yeah, he had 17 last year.
I would probably again give that award to either him or Josh Allen, because Josh Allen had 16 last year with no proven weapons and the team completely on his back and a new offensive coordinator. So I would probably expect Hurts or Allen. So Chris Hennigan says, why did our OC make Dak throw the ball 60 freaking times? Is he talking about the Green Bay game?
I'm not sure. I don't know the numbers on that.
Yeah, I don't either. If it was the Green Bay game, it's obvious why he had to throw it.
We got so behind, we had to throw the ball. I just wanted to know, because there were some crazy numbers we were putting in there with Kellen. And I always had this theory Kellen was so mad Dak took his starting job when Romo went down that he was trying to ruin him. But he's talking about Green Bay.
Yeah, he is.
That's just because we got so quickly behind. And even when we started catching up, the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Yep. I mean, we were in trouble. He had to throw the ball. He was trying to get big chunks of plays. And that, of course, when you throw the ball more, that leads to more interceptions.
Interceptions, right.
So, and just so y'all know, I argued with someone till I was blue in the face yesterday, and then they left. I guess I told him to take the walk of shame and he left. I love arguing about football, like with stats and facts. I'm very factually and stat based. Someone was arguing with me that Dak has the biggest interception problem in sports and that we should have Josh Allen on our team because he is so great with not turning over the ball. And I just wondered if anyone could tell me what alternate reality we've moved into. Dak has a 1.9 interception rate. He rates 9th in history for interceptions. So,
If anybody says I want Josh Allen because of turnovers, you do not watch football. That
Amen.
guy is terrible when it comes to turning it over and at the
In the
worst
red
time.
zone. In the red zone.
Exactly.
That is his like bread and butter. Oh, look, we're in the red zone.
Right.
Hey, that guy's not on my team. He needs the ball.
Exactly.
So
yeah, Charlie's saying pretty much attempts are dictated by the score. The more you're ahead, the more you run. Further behind, the more you throw. Couldn't have summed it up any better, Charlie. Thank you for answering that. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have. There was somebody who had some fantasy questions.
Stephen Franco.
It was
I don't know
Stephen
if he's still
Franco.
in
So
there. Yeah.
Stephen Franco, if you're still here, put those fantasy questions in the comments. If anybody else has any fantasy thoughts, feel free to throw them in as well. We can talk about that a little bit with an hour 30. Before we do that, or after we do this, we'll talk about fantasy. If not, we'll close the show out. So let's go into our last giveaway question. So Amanda, let the people know what the last prize of the night is.
Okay, so one of our verified sellers that is just amazing. His name's Justin. He runs, I'm going to get this middle number wrong, maybe 951, right? 951 Sports. It's based out of California, and what he does is he's got awesome replica stitched jerseys. 951. I remembered right. So he has some of the highest quality replica jerseys. These aren't screen printed. These are purely stitched. They fit wonderfully, and he can get them all the way up to like 7 or 8 XL, which is very, very beneficial. But what he is offering, so the winner will get one in-stock jersey of choice. So what you need to do is message me so that I can make a group chat with you, and we will get you a jersey that he has in stock, and he will ship it out. And they are phenomenal. I don't buy anything else, so good luck and enjoy the trivia question.
All right.
It's very easy.
Okay, Amanda. So they don't get mad at me. I'll let you choose. Are we doing the one about the playoffs or the one about the quarterbacks? Which one would you like?
I don't want no.
You pick the questions. I'm letting you choose which one.
See, he's setting me up. Okay. I think the quarterback ones because there's multiple choices. I mean,
okay,
right? So there's multiple options to answer this. So maybe that'd be easier.
Okay.
They're both pretty kind of hard. So, and y'all can blame Google, not me.
I need to. Now I don't know the answer to this one, so I'm hoping you got it. Are these all of them?
I sent it to you. I think so. That's the one. That was the options on the page I found.
Okay, so I put a caveat in there. If I put starting quarterbacks, will that still matter? Because
okay, let's do the other question.
Okay,
and we'll save that one.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll save that one for next time. I'll do some more research.
I would hate to tell somebody they're wrong and they're not.
Right. Yeah.
Because
and this one also makes it so there's just one answer and not we have to look and see. So we'll go with that one. No, Jeff, it's not an Amari Cooper jersey. I have one of those. Thank you.
All right. So on this trivia question, we're going all the way back to 1979. So for some of you diehard old school Cowboys fans, you're going to be at an advantage. I'm trying to type the question in.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate that compliment. We do our best. We really love doing this. I've really enjoyed coming on with Marcos when I get the chance. It's been great.
So Amanda will be joining us again on next Wednesday. And then she'll be coming in also throughout the season. And we'll also have some other guests, some other podcasters, maybe a couple of former, maybe current Cowboys players. So be sure to stick with us at the Fifth Quarter Podcast because we have a great season in store for you guys.
Yes, super excited about it, y'all. Like I've been really working behind the scenes. Marcus can verify. I've been doing some crazy stuff to make this like really the show y'all want to come to every week. So,
all right. So, and again, you can blame Amanda for this question. What team ruined the Cowboys' hopes for a third straight NFL championship by defeating them in the 1979 playoffs? Should they be NFC championship or NFL championship?
I think it's NFC, right?
All right. Yeah. Let me make sure I change it because I want to be. All right, so the Cowboys had a chance to go to the NFC Championship 3 straight years, but this team defeated them in the 1979 playoffs to prevent it. And
Wow. That wasn't that hard.
we got some
obviously.
diehard fans because I didn't know
Wow.
it. Jeff Pop
Way to go,
with the
Jeff.
LA Rams is the first one to answer correctly. So congratulations, Jeff Pop. Make sure you contact Amanda so that you can get that jersey of choice.
Very
Boy,
good,
quite a few people that said Rams.
Yeah,
so
everybody. Wow. Wow. Very good, y'all. That's pretty impressive. Maybe we should have done the other one. I should have done more research. She should have asked me more than an hour before the game or the show.
Well, we'll save that one for next week.
Yeah, I've got more prizes coming. I've been stacking them up, guys. We're going to have a great season.
Jeff Pop says he's old school Cowboys. All right. I saw we had a fantasy question.
I think it was to – who was it? It was to start somebody.
Tank Dale.
Okay.
What are your receiver options, Jason? Just give me a couple of them.
Because, Jason, if you're still here, let us know.
I would say it depends on who your receiver options are.
When I look at Tank Dell, I'm not really worried about Stephon Diggs taking snaps from Nico Collins. I still think he's going to be your wide receiver one.
Yep.
Stephan's going to be a distraction. That's going to be very much. But in retrospect, I look at Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, and I would be concerned with Stephon taking snaps from Tank Dell. Now, Tank does, and I think he's coming off injury too. Right? Yes. I don't remember what he hurt. Did he break his leg or was it an ACL?
I don't think it was that serious, but it was enough to put him
out.
I
just remembered he didn't play in the playoffs, if I recall correctly. I don't think he played or he got injured in that game. But he's got Lamb, Dell, and Moore.
If those are your three options and you have to sit one, I probably would sit Tank Dale. But if you have other options, let me know what the other options are.
Is it a 2-receiver league with the flex, or is it?
That could be it, yeah.
That's what
Jeff did say it was a broken leg. Jeff's a huge Tank Dale fan.
So I thought so. Yeah, I thought it was. I knew it was pretty rough. So Thomas Jr. or Watson. Let's see. Green Bay plays Philly.
I'm probably starting Tank Dale in that situation. I don't like Christian Watson.
Christian Watson had that one good year, and then Aaron Rodgers left, and that was and he's got an injury bug that he cannot just stay on the field. I would probably play Lamb, Dell, and Moore, depending on what your running backs are. Because if you're depending on what your setup is, like for all of the DC for L leagues, we have quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, a flex, a tight end, offense or defense, and kicker. So I would probably play the 3 you named, unless you just have really, really strong third running back there that you could take in, and then I'd probably still sit Moore. I think I'd play Tank Dell.
And I'm with you, and I'll say this on the show. I don't want to get Cowboys fans' hopes up, and I don't want somebody to say breaking news and post this tomorrow. I really feel like Stephon Diggs is going to be a Cowboy either by the end of this year or next year. Because like you said, he's not taking any catches from Nico Collins. Nico Collins is the guy there.
Yeah, he is the guy.
And Tank Dale and the quarterback have a really good rapport when he's healthy.
Yeah.
At best, Stephon Diggs is going to get the Noah Brown, and I can't think of the other young receiver they have. Whatever their touches were, he's going to get them.
I thought they cut Noah Brown, right?
They did cut Noah Brown. That's what I'm saying. He's going to get those carries.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
He's going to get those catches. And then there's another 4th receiver. I can't think of his name. Small, quick guy from Bama, I believe.
And don't forget, you got Dalton Schultz in that mix too. So
thank you, Corlin Michie. Whatever Michie and Brown had combined, take that plus another 10 catches. That's all Diggs is going to get. We talked about it earlier in the show. Diggs came from an offense where he was getting 140 targets a year. When he comes here, he's 3rd on the pecking order, and they have a running back that they're going to try to fit into the passing and running game because they didn't have that last year with Singletary because he's not a catcher out of the backfield. But Mixon's excellent out of the backfield. He's going to be a malcontent there.
Yeah. I think so too. And he's only on a 1 year, right? This is the last year of his contract.
Yep. Yeah. In order to make the trade, he voided the last 2 years of his deal, and he took a pay cut.
Yeah.
So if he's just a straight malcontent,
he got to Texas, and so now he's just about 4 hours south of where he wants to play. I don't think so, Jeff. I mean, unless CJ Stroud has that second year slump, I do not think that they are overrated. I'm sorry. Yeah. I do not think that they are overrated.
And that's my other point too, Cortland. He wants to play with his brother, and they're both mama's boys. Their mom wants to be able to watch both of her sons play in the same stadium. That's why he chose Houston.
Yeah, so
his mom didn't want to go back and forth, right?
It's literally, just so most of you know, if they're both playing at home, it's a 45-minute plane ride at most. It's just a quick jog down. I mean, and there's about to be a train that will take you there in an hour. So it hadn't been started yet, but the bullet train's been talked about. So
yeah. Mendoza asked a question about Xavier Worthy.
I am. I'm riding the Xavier Worthy train. I'm sorry. I've got a really good feeling about this kid, and I'm starting him. Mendoza, join me and start Xavier Worthy. And I think he's going to be the X factor in their game against Baltimore. So
my only concern is I don't know where he's playing. Is he playing as the X? Is he playing in the slot?
I thought he was playing opposite of Rashid on the outside. Kind of like a Brandon Cooks to a CeeDee Lamb. I thought that's where they said they were going to play him, but I haven't.
Okay. So if that's the case, that means that Rashid Rice is going to get the Marlon Humphrey treatment because he shadows.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I would feel a little bit better about starting Worthy because I don't know if their number 2 corner is nearly as good as Marlon Humphrey. Humphrey's going to shut down whoever he's guarding. Jason Layton, Spears or Mouse, Tajay Spears or Zach Mouse from Cincy. I know they paid Pollard a lot of money, but Tajay Spears, when he got opportunity early in the season last year, looked really good. And he's an incumbent. Zach Mouse is another free agent, but they have Brown with Cincy. I don't know what Cincy's offensive line looks like still.
That's my concern with the Moss. Yeah, is the offensive line.
That was probably a coin flip, but because Spears is an incumbent and Moss is a new guy, I would probably go Spears week 1.
And Mendoza, I see that. I don't know. I've got a really good feeling about that. Jason, the fact he didn't get picked up, I picked him up in a few leagues, but he was gone when I went to draft my last league. I think it was the 6th round or 7th, and I went to pick him up because I really do. I've drafted him in a lot of the leagues because I think he's going to be a stud. I think he's the next Tyreek Hill for Patrick Mahomes. And I picked, and he was gone. So someone else has either watched the show and heard me rave about him, or they just have also seen what I've seen. So
yeah. So Cortland asked the question, what would the trade compensation be? The problem is Houston has no leverage.
None.
Because he has 1 year left on his deal, and they're not going to franchise tag him.
No.
So he's going to be out of there. And if he complains, which we all know he will, they're going to have to make a decision. Do we keep him on the team and mess up the chemistry with these young guys who are still developing? Or do we get him out of here and get what we can for him? So I would probably say you could probably get him for, we have a ton of 4th and 5ths. We have a ton of 5ths next year. A 5th could probably do it. You may have to give up a 4th if you want Houston to take on some of that contract. But on Dallas's side, we talked about this all show. Jerry loves marketing.
And that's
Could you imagine the jersey sales and the commercials and the promo opportunities to have the Diggs brothers on the same team?
I think that he'll be a Cowboy before it's all said and done, but I do not think I can't imagine it being this year unless something devastating happens, and I don't want anything devastating to happen. But that is if something, say you go out there and our wide receiver 3 like Tolbert just doesn't play well and no one else steps up, Flournoy, I just can't imagine them shipping someone out. I mean, then again, back to Amari Cooper. We didn't have nobody then, so they kind of had to. They let Dez walk and then went out there with wide receiver by committee, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
So, but Jason, I don't agree. I think Cooks is a wonderful wide receiver. I see you say that CeeDee's our only receiving threat. I don't agree. I think Cooks is a fast little dude. I think he is. I think he is a threat. I find him as a threat in most places. So. He's not as great as, say a Devontae Smith, who's, the number 2 in Philly, but he definitely has the ability to be successful if we utilize him. So I think Diggs would come in and make a great 3. That'd be a really wonderful 3-headed beast.
Mm-hmm.
But
now that's just me wishful thinking. I don't have any insider information about it, but he voided the last 2 years of his contract for a reason. He chose Houston for a reason. They didn't. He had to agree to Houston. He's trying to get close to his brother, and his brother just signed a big deal. He's not going anywhere.
Nope.
I think the writing's on the wall, and if he has anything to complain about, they're going to get him out of there. And the only team that would be willing to take him this year would be Dallas.
Yeah.
And if he becomes a free agent, the first place he's going to call is Dallas.
Yeah, I don't even think he'd have to call. I think Trevon would do it for him.
Right.
Hey, you're a free. But I expect it next offseason. We've talked about this, Marcus. I do. I expect Stephon Diggs in Dallas before he's done with his. It makes the most sense. And I don't think he voided those years for nothing.
Yeah.
I think Houston was just the place that he could get closer to Trevon.
Exactly.
And now his mom can get more games. So if it's not this year, I fully expect it to be next year, because I will say that a CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, that'd be a pretty enticing thing to a new coach if you need one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it also depends. We've got a $40 million dead cap hit next year. So that's also a big factor. I think we're sitting at $40 million in cap space projected right now with the $40 million dead cap hit.
Yeah.
So it would really depend. There's so many factors, but we got a lot of people to play next year. So we really need to sign a quarterback. Like I would expect to sign Dak so your cap hit for him drops. Because, you could get him on a cap hit of $15 million next year, and you really, because then you can push that 40 dead cap even further out.
Yep.
And the cap's just going up. So that's really what I think. It really is just going to depend on what happens with Dak to what happens with this team next year. Yeah. So I do think Trevon and Stephon will eventually play together, and I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Jason Layton. Hope you continue to join us every Wednesday at 8:30. We got one more fantasy question, then we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for sticking with us. The views are still going up, so I guess you guys appreciate the conversation. So thank you for continuing to go with us.
Yes,
and for more people joining.
Wow.
The last question, Mike Evans, or I'm assuming Wilson from the Jets, if I had to guess. Let me know if that's right, Jeff Pop.
Isn't it Garrett?
Garrett Wilson, yeah.
Garrett Wilson, yeah. Who do the Jets play?
They play the Niners. The Niners have no.
Oh, they don't have any corners? I haven't looked.
The Niners have probably the worst secondary in the NFL right now.
Really?
Yes.
So is that's going to be their weakness this year? Is their secondary?
That was their weakness last year. Teams just couldn't take advantage of it.
Well, I guess when you have a front seven as dominant as them, I guess it makes sense that they didn't really need a strong secondary.
But their starting safety, Hufanga, is going to be out. And I think they put their starting corner, Ambry Thomas, on IR before the season.
Oh, man.
So they're pretty depleted right now.
Wilson with Rodgers, if Rodgers can make it past the first series. Depends on how much. Never mind. I don't want to get in trouble with Facebook. Depends on what kind of spirit journeys he went on this summer.
Right. But yeah, that was a no question. It's Garrett Wilson. And that matchup is probably good no matter for probably outside of 12 receivers. That one's probably the best matchup in football this Sunday.
Yeah.
Their starting corners are Travarius Ward and Isaac Yiadom. I think is like a like a journeyman corner. Ambry Thomas is on IR. Let's see. Hufunga, is he practicing yet? I don't know if they're all pro Hufunga may or may not be practicing, but he's been out for a while. Yeah, you take advantage of that. And you got Aaron Rodgers, and if, like Amanda said, if he stays healthy, his first game in 2 years, they're gonna air it out. They improve the offensive line. They're gonna try to do some stuff.
I really expect it, and even last year, I expected them to be better than they were with Rodgers even down, but they just couldn't get anyone in there of decency to run the offense. So the Jets have a good team. They just need someone to really be able to commandeer it and run it. So I think it'll be a good team. I think Garrett's going to have a really good, strong season too.
Cortland Haskins asking, does CMC have a good game? That's if he plays. I mean,
yeah, is he still hurt? Like, that's going to be the biggest thing. Is I saw CMC go 4th. I was shocked. He didn't get picked up for the first 3 picks, and I said, "What in the world's going on here?" But it's all because of injury. Yeah. I got Travis Kelce in the 2nd for that reason last year, but he didn't do me no good. He was busy doing other things. So.
Yeah, the Jets, even with the Hassan Reddick sitting out, they probably still have a top 3 front 7 in the league.
Is he not? Why is he sitting? Is he not contract? Is that what it is? I don't. What's going on there? Didn't they just get him?
He requested to be traded from Philly because Philly said they would not give him a new contract.
Oh.
They talked to him before the trade and said, "Will you play this year under the deal you have?" He said yes. They traded a 3rd-round pick for him, I believe. And as soon as he got to the Jets, he says, "Where's my contract?" And he has not participated. He's pretty much left the city until he gets a deal. So I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Well, that's fun. Poor Jets. See, they got some crazy luck, man.
Cortland said he practiced yesterday as soon as Trent resigned. But for me, he hurt his calf in December. And they're still talking about the same calf in September. That's kind of concerning for me.
Or is it a hold-in, or is that just the excuse?
No, it's not a hold-in. He got paid. Yeah, he got paid. He got paid.
Oh, no, I was talking about I thought we were talking about Reddick.
I was talking about Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, CMC. Yeah. Look, and that's the thing, I found that a very big fluke because CMC got traded, and everybody remembers one big thing about CMC before being traded, and that was he could not stay on a field.
Yeah.
And then, he had 2 years in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Is it 2 years in San Francisco now? This is year 3, right?
Well, yeah, because he got traded kind of halfway through the
right.
First year.
So my thought process in it is it's so bizarre that he really didn't have any major concerns up until now. It's just so weird to me how that happens. Football's an interesting thing. I find those little caveats so interesting. So.
All right, so we gave you guys a little bit of fantasy football talk before we got out of here. Make sure to join us every Wednesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time for the Fifth Quarter Podcast. Amanda will be joining us again next week, where we will be doing a recap of the game against Cleveland, and we will look ahead to our next week's matchup. We're going to also do our X Factors, over-unders, key matchup, things of that nature. You can also join me this Sunday. I should be here about 11:15, and I try to get out of here about 11:55 for the pregame show, where we'll give you the injury report so you can kind of know who's injured and who may or may not play. We will do our keys to victory, game predictions, bold predictions, and we'll give you the fantasy favorites within the Cowboys game and around the league. So make sure you join us this Sunday at 11:15. We're going to give you guys 40 minutes of NFL content, give you guys a few minutes to get set up, get your beverage of choice, and watch a full slate of NFL football. So thank you guys for joining us. Got a big game tomorrow night to watch. Got another game on Friday. Hopefully that gets signed before Sunday, and then we'll go into a great game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. Before we go, Amanda, you got any last words?
I just want to thank everybody. Y'all really supported us. You know, we started this, I think, week 7 last year. And it was I had a big hope. We had a podcast previously, but it didn't, I think it lasted a few months and then we kind of dipped off. And I really wanted a podcast for DC Frail. It meant a lot to me because it's just an aspect of football that you really want to have when you're building something. Marcus jokes that what'd you say? It was the DC Frail empire or something. I don't remember what he said earlier, but DC Frail is super important to me and very close to my heart. And I've poured 8 years into this brand. And I have a wonderful co-owner, and Marcus is on our team. We have a wonderful team. And now we have this wonderful host in Marcus. And I just want to thank everyone for the support because I know you can be anywhere. Yeah. There's so many options, and you come and spend 2 hours with us tonight. Yeah. And I know you're here even when there's not prizes. So it just means a ton to me. And Marcus, I can't thank you enough. So thank you all for the support, and I will see you next week.
Yeah. Before I did this show, I had my own podcast with another co-host. His life lifed, and he had to exit out, and I didn't want to continue that podcast with our name, and it was just me. So I decided to shut that one down and try to start my own thing. And as soon as Amanda reached out to me, I knew, like, if I'm going to do this, this is the best place to do it at. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to represent the DC4L brand and give my own spin on how I like to do content, because I think I do things a lot more differently than other people. I don't do a lot of clickbait stuff.
No.
I don't start fake beefs. I try to be as positive and neutral as possible in any takes I give, and I appreciate you allowing me to do that and not have me just come on here to say what I can to try to get ratings or views or likes or dislikes.
I'm grateful for you, Marcus. I mean, I don't know if y'all know this. If you're still listening, thank you. But DC4L reaches 15 to 20 million people right now. It was the lowest it got in the off season was 7 million. And since we have got into August, we are just shooting up. Our numbers are through the roof. And you know, like I said, you can go anywhere, and it just means a whole lot. It means a whole lot. And thank you, seriously, Marcus. You've done us such a great favor being here, and I can't wait to see where the season goes. I mean, I'm looking at the likes right now, and it's just in disbelief to see where we started. And like, we're looking at numbers on the screen that y'all can't see, but it's a lot. So thank you all.
Yeah, it is.
We'll have a really awesome season, and I'll get all the prizes. And before I forget, so DC4L is partnered with the Cowboys Experience. I almost forgot this, Marcus.
You forgot to send me the graphic.
Barry didn't send it to me. I'm going to get on to him. I won't message him. But I talked to Barry yesterday. He's the owner of the Cowboys Experience. And tomorrow or Friday, don't hold me to the date because I have to get the graphic. But if you are in the Dallas area and you want an opportunity to meet Michael Irvin, we're going to have a giveaway for you, a VIP experience. It's a VIP ticket to the Cowboys Experience. It's awesome. If you've never been there, we partner with them. You can get a discount just for being a DC4L member. So look for that and all that fun stuff. But yeah, go meet Michael Urban if you're in the Dallas area.
So question before we go. Yeah. So is Michael Irvin going to be a part of the Cowboys Experience on Saturday, or
on Saturday?
Yes. So he's going to be at the Cowboy Experience on Saturday.
He is going to be at the Cowboy Experience Saturday. I've got all it's the Playmaker Party, I think is what this week. Okay. Barry went way out there to make this work. I'd only got brief details. Barry calls and fills me in, and I find out all these really cool things that I didn't even know about. So I'm excited, but he wanted to give us a VIP ticket experience for one person. And you can go out to the Cowboys Experience. And I know all the other names that are going to be there, but I don't think I'm supposed to drop those yet. I got permission to say Michael Irvin, but it's going to be a really awesome thing. And if you want to meet them, if you want to meet him and other players, because he's got players there every home game on Saturday. Yeah. So
now Amanda hasn't talked to me, Barry. So if you're watching, don't get upset. But I've been to a few Cowboys experiences. So just based off of my experience, I could probably guess a couple of players you might see. He normally gets a lot of rookies. So you'll probably see maybe a Kalen Carson, maybe a Leah Fowl. Sam Williams is there all the time. So
all the time.
If he's up to it, he'll more than likely be there. You said the Playmaker. He normally gets Kenny the Shark comes out quite a bit.
Yep. And there's going to be 88. That's all I'm going to say. 88. That'll be my, and he won't get mad at me for saying that. So 88.
Well, he's
Okay,
doing a
y'all-
giveaway to meet Michael Irvin, so we know he's
right.
going to be there.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that, there's a club.
Okay.
There's a club. So, but definitely watch for the DC for L post. You can get a VIP experience. Get out there. I think there's food. And that'll be opening weekend. And you can come meet me because I'll be there. So,
yeah. If you've never been, and I'm not saying this because Barry's an endorser of the show.
No.
If you've ever been to Dallas and you haven't gone to Cowboys experience, you're definitely missing literally an experience.
Yeah.
There's going to be live performances. There's going to be cheerleaders. It's great food. A lot of great Cowboys fans. He sells memorabilia at a discounted rate. And if you've never had a chance to meet a player up close and personal, it's worth the money because you're going to meet a minimum of 4 players.
Yeah.
A minimum. So bring whatever you want them to sign. They'll sign it. It's a great time overall. And it's going to be the first game of the year. So it's definitely going to be extremely hyped.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. And and we don't say that as just an endorser. Barry is he's been in business 20 plus years. He is, when you talk about someone whose phone, like contact list that just like makes you be quiet when he's talking about people that contact him and you're like, okay, but he's just a really good person. In this business, there's so many options, and I love to support people that are real, down to earth, good people. And Barry is salt of the earth people. Barry's a really good person. So definitely check it out. All the info will be posted in the next couple of days in the DC for L Facebook group, and we're going to post it on the page too. So, but thank you. So I almost forgot, Marcus.
Oh, no problem. So that's it. That's all we have for tonight's show. Thank you guys for joining us. Definitely appreciate your support. This show is fueled by DC4L Nation. And once again, you guys came with some great questions, great comments. Be sure to join us next Wednesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Also join me this Sunday at 11:15 a.m. Central Time for our pregame show. As always, let's go Cowboys. First game of the season. It's going to be rocking and rolling, and we will see you next week.